that's what's more fun for me.
I spent most of my life as an actor.
To a whole generation, Geoffrey Rush is best known as Captain Barbossa in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Yet to others, he is known as one of Australia's greatest living theatrical actors. His ability to create and immerse himself in his characters is second to none, allowing audiences to lose themselves in his performance. Geoffrey grew up in Brisbane and took quite an unusual approach to learning his craft, spending 2 years studying mime and movement in Paris. He then returned to Brisbane, where he began his career treading the boards with the Queensland Theatre Company. Geoffrey showed an impressive ability on the stage, easily jumping from the likes of Shakespeare to playing Snoopy in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. He popped up in the occasional Aussie film, but it was his mesmerising portrayal of David Helfgott in Shine that really got him noticed. One of the keys to his outstanding performance was the level of preparation he put in.
I really approached the filming like I was in a play. I said to Scott, the director, I want to, on the days we film these big raves, feel like I'm in the theatre and we're in the third week of the run. There was a sense of improv, I suppose, before the final shooting script, but pretty much from the final draft into the shooting script, I then had some input because I'd listened to all of these audio tapes of interviews with David and had typed out, like I'd put in a little earpiece and typed out every repetition, every overlap, every kind of broken thought, just to see what it looked like as text. And I said to the writer, can we look at the script and let me free it up so I can just maybe put a few, I won't add any more time to your film, but I want to get these repetitions just as a process for me to sort of get the feel of what I'm hearing the real David say. And he said, oh, absolutely, I'd love you to do that.
And all that hard work definitely paid off. Not only was Geoffrey suddenly a household name, he also won an Academy Award. As you'd expect, the Oscar brought in a flood of offers. Geoffrey next starred in the classic Les Miserables, followed by Elizabeth alongside fellow Aussie Kate Blanchett. But it was Shakespeare in Love that allowed him to play a more comedic role for a change.
In the wake of Shine, the roles that I'd taken on were all sort of dark, brooding, villainous, philosophical sort of characters. When Toby Belch and Andrew Aguichik get drunk together, it's fantastic stuff to play and an audience really comes in on it.
Continuing to take a lighter approach to roles, Geoffrey knew he could be a real pelican. Well, an animated pelican anyway. Geoffrey voiced Nigel, the pelican in Finding Nemo, loving the freedom of doing an animation.
As an actor, there are certain physical limitations to what you can actually do because you're trapped inside a human body. But when you know you're going to be animated, your mouth can move in extraordinary ways, and they've even managed to make my wings look a bit like the way I talk. You know, all the feathers do this all the time.
Rush is not your typical Hollywood star. Rather than choosing roles for their box office appeal, he has selected parts that appeal to him personally. In fact, he's even been known to turn down highly paid film work in America in favour of work back here in Australia.
I mean, I've just managed to, I've been very lucky that I've been able to find, for me, roles that have really excited me, that tell stories in a kind of cultural idiom or language, or in some cases, direct experience that distinctly from a country that I have grown up in.
Returning home to act in smaller budget Aussie movies like Lantana and Candy demonstrates Geoffrey's passion for our ever-growing film industry. But one of his more recent projects, Brand New Day, captivated Geoffrey from the first time he saw the stage play. So starring in the cinematic version was a no-brainer.
I saw the show in Melbourne, would have been about 92. And I remember saying to Robin Kershaw then, I've just seen this amazing bit of theatre. I'm really envious of its political provocation and its passion and its humour and the love that comes out of it and this great country score on the rocks, you know. I want to be in theatre like that.
Throughout his career, Geoffrey has played a wide range of characters. But in Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, he got the chance to let his imagination set sail, playing a pirate captain. Rush clearly had a whole lot of fun playing the dastardly Captain Barbossa, but when he was first offered the role, what did he think about the fact that the film's based on a ride at Disneyland?
It never worried me that the first project was presumably based on a theme park ride, because I knew that they were looking at the period of history that the theme park ride was based on, and I thought this is a really good genre, you know. And at that stage, the mad combination of Johnny Depp in a Jerry Bruckheimer-produced film with this screenplay and this really smart director, I thought this is going to be good.
Well, as we now know, Pirates of the Caribbean has spawned into a 4-part mega franchise with the sniff of a 5th instalment in the works. There's something contradictory about Geoffrey's involvement in such a commercial series, considering that there's been several occasions in the past where he's turned down big pay packets for smaller passion projects. The only logical explanation can be that he loves the swashbuckling story as much as the fans.
Well, it's good to, you know, I drop into the chat rooms to see what the fans are talking about, because literally since 2003, when the first film came out, there are hits every minute and have been for 4 years. And the kids play games and they fill in time. Then when the trailer's out, they dissect it forensically. And I actually feel as though they're getting a sort of surrogate film analysis course, or they're being tutored without them knowing it in the great sort of 19th century sprawling novel tradition of Dickens.
But the predominantly dramatic actor would again return to more serious fare, producing a perfectly measured performance as an Israeli official in Steven Spielberg's Munich. Rush was greatly impressed by the historical screenplay and Spielberg's ability to portray this heart-wrenching event from all points of view.
And I think generally with this film, he's aiming to create a dramatic landscape that makes people not just take simple sides on something. That you see some pretty devastating things. And he said they were just shooting last week. A lot of the stuff in the Olympic Village, and he said, I thought I was going to be okay in this film and have a certain focused technical detachment. He said, but when we're shooting the scenes in the Olympic Village, he said, I looked across at the Palestinian actors and they're crying, and I looked across at the Israeli actors and they're crying, and the Palestinian actors are going in and helping the Israeli actors get up. And I think that's the tenor of what he's looking to achieve.
In 2010, Geoffrey would deliver a daring and magnificent performance as Lionel Logue in the critically acclaimed The King's Speech. Logue is the eccentric speech therapist enlisted to cure the stammering and recently crowned King George VI of his embarrassing impediment. But is this film a brilliant behind-the-scenes snapshot of royal life, or just a bromance?
I know people who've not seen it, or I've seen blogs or commentaries in print where people say, you know, on paper, this looks like it's about two middle-aged men who become friends. We were the first to fess up to that when we were talking to the North American press. I said, look, that's really what it's about. But I said to the producers, please don't put that on the poster because no one will want to come and see it. But audiences have told us that there is some undercurrent within this story that audiences are identifying with heavily. Whether it's a metaphor that the stuttering king is somehow an emblem of everyone's own sense of failure to meet what they think their social or public image might be.
In Geoffrey's life story, it would be impossible not to mention the year 2012, as he was awarded Australian of the Year for his hand in strengthening the national film industry and his tireless work with our next generation of actors. In addition to his prestigious title, he also was appointed the President of the Australian Academy of Cinema and Television Arts. Geoffrey had this to say at the Academy's inaugural awards night.
Welcome, everyone. This is our night. In fact, this is our year. Thank you for helping us make history tonight with the first ever Samson Actor Awards. More than half a century after the AFI began lighting the way, the Australian Academy picks up the torch, reaffirming our industry's place on the national and global stage. The Academy's goal is to voice the pride we have in this incredibly rich, diverse, globally recognized industry.
His presidency of actor says it all, doesn't it? Loved locally and admired globally, you can't get much higher than Australia's father of acting, Geoffrey Rush. Always unconventional, Geoffrey excels at essaying characters that make up one of the most impressive resumes of his generation. Stay tuned to Starfix for all the movies you know and the actors you love, broadcast in high definition with 5.1 surround sound where available. For more of the best in entertainment news, check out your Movie Network channels. Find or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and mnc.tv.